Warning! Warning! Beware! This video has opinions. If you're a person who gets angered, offended, brought to tears, or anything like that by opinions, now is the time to click away. Warning!
Now, She-Hulk has been a nice little series which everyone on the internet loves. Oh, wait, I was talking about Daredevil, sorry. She-Hulk was a very controversial show for a number of reasons, which is now finished, and I have some stuff to say about it, so let's talk about that. Hello, everyone, Fictional Fanatics here to talk about how She-Hulk is pretty good. Now, upon the first 2 episodes releasing, like any show, I would do a review of it. But as I watched episode 3 and 4, gearing up to do the review for those episodes, I just couldn't. It was so bad at that point that my sister actually quit watching it, and I just couldn't review it. Now, with the whole show being out, I'll review it episode by episode, then give general thoughts. Spoilers.
Wee woo, spoiler.
Looking back, episode 1 of She-Hulk was pretty good. Once you get past the 1 minute of cringy talking about how much better women are than men, I really enjoyed it. I was kind of scared going in that Professor Hulk was going to be super annoying like an Endgame, but he was pretty good. I like how he was just misunderstanding her, that was the conflict, and trying to put her in his shoes when they're two different people. I'm not saying that the women are better stuff was bad, but a bit funny just when we go forward about how kind of hypocritical it is. It was a pretty good episode, and that's about all I have to say. But episode 2 was where the blandness starts. It was a pretty slow and boring episode. It didn't feel like much happened. It was just in the slow way where it doesn't focus on character development, but it just felt slow. She got a job, she met her family, and she got her first case, which we don't see much progression on until the next episode. It was a lot slower than the first episode and a lot less interesting. Episode 3 is a thing that exists, I guess. I need to watch this episode a few days later than it came out, so going in I knew about the scene. And me and my sister were just there so we could clown on this episode. Wong was in this episode, and he wasn't at his worst in the show, but he wasn't great. The case with Emil was super dumb. The elf fairy stuff was fine, I guess. But it just did feel kind of unnatural and forced, the elf stuff. The post-credit scene, I laughed, just about how dumb it is. But now it just makes the speech in episode 1 look worse because she's talking about how women need to work so much harder and men are telling her how to do her job while she's twerking in her office. Now, on SNL, there was this TikTok themed one, and it's just a compilation of a bunch of like fake TikToks. And there was one of a nurse doing surgery, and then just during surgery, she's doing her TikTok dances. This feels just like that, and it was just so funny in a dumb way. And it's like, but is this really what you want for your message? This episode was great to make fun of, but was kind of a slog fest otherwise. Episode 4 was slow, painful, and dumb. Donnie Blaze was an annoying character. Not funny, just annoying. Madison with a Y, but not where you think it is a pretty funny character, but wrong. Wrong. What they did with Wong was so wrong. They made him so incompetent. He was stupid and not just not funny. The Book of the Shanti. No, oh my God, that was a horrible joke. When she found the doctor guy and they had that one night stand, she was just being a bit too horny by taking away the shirt, and it just makes me not like it. And here's what I was thinking. I mean, what would happen if the roles were reversed? If someone stole someone else's shirt? That I'm just gonna leave it there. But that would have gone a lot differently. But one thought I have had throughout the show is if she's having all this intercourse with other people, how does the Hulk blood not come in contact with them at all? With things like STDs being passed, I just thought that was honestly how they were going to get the blood. Because in the comics, Spider-Man's blood literally gets switched with someone else's just by making out. But this episode just broke me. But seriously, I honestly thought that's how they were going to go with the show. And I just think that would have been funnier. So rewrite the show. Release the fictional cut. Yeah, let's do it. But episode 5 was where it started to change. The She-Hulk by Titania ad was so funny, and so was Titania. She feels like a spoiled influencer brat, and everything she does is so funny. The court case did not want to make me cry and start watching Daredevil again, like a lot of the show. And you knew it was going to go back to dating people when she said, "Have you used the name personally?" And the designer guy was funny, and the Daredevil hint was so bait and switch when you're going to have it episode 5. He doesn't show up till episode 8. That's not cool. Overall, I really enjoyed it, and it gave me hope for the show. But where's the post-credit scene in this episode? Episode 6 was also really good. The wedding stuff was funny, but I can't tell what the girl's deal is. Was she getting paid by Titania to run things for Jen, or was that just how she normally is? Also, if so, why? Either way, Titania was great in this. The sucker punch made me laugh so hard, and their fight was so funny. Titania is seriously underrated in my opinion. The new love interest guy was cool. I think his name's Josh. And the intelligentsia stuff was interesting. But seriously, that last shot with intelligentsia and the needle couldn't have gone in the post-credit scene. And again, where'd the post-credit scene go? I don't have this in the script because I forgot, but the Mr. Immortal stuff, it was funny, but I mean, I didn't really think it works very good story-wise, and it's She-Hulk Attorney at Law, and she's in like 2 cases. Everyone else is having a case more than her. And episode 7 was really good. I like the scenes with Josh, and the ghosting did kind of hurt, just because you saw how happy they were, or at least she was. But the main point of interest of this episode is obviously with Emil at his school thingy. Although it was weird how Jen wasn't asking the guy who tried to steal her blood about it, it was a good episode. Now, was she not controlling her anger even though she said she's so good at it when she was trying to kill him? Maybe, but just all the D tier heroes here were super cool, and that ending shot was also very cool. But guess what? Episode 8 is also really good. Now, Daredevil was a bit too quippy for me, but he was just fantastic. He was funny. He had his theme music playing. He was destroying Jen, like just roasting her. And Jen was smashing him, like just banging him. And their court scenes together were good, and they actually made sense. Unlike the rest of the court scenes, seeing more of the designer was cool, and the leapfrog guy was pretty funny. Now in the opening, I couldn't tell if he was trying to steal the TV or the guys were stealing. To me, it looked like they had bought it, but I could be wrong. And the last 10 minutes of the gala were just not good in my opinion. It was unfunny, and when Intelligentsia showed up, it just felt so weird. And the ending didn't really feel picked up in episode 9, the finale. Now, going into this, it's where I was worried most of any other episode. To go from a super sitcom show to a standard MCU finale, it wouldn't fit. And hardly any other Disney Plus shows have had good endings besides maybe 2. But although not perfect in finishing the show, just based on everything else we've seen so far, it was fun and it was good. First of all, Matt Murdock should have been Jen's lawyer in the beginning. Sorry, not sorry, other lawyer girl. But, I mean, it just would have made perfect sense. But from there on, it's just fun. The intelligentsia meeting, again, that was fun, but how did Nikki not know that was Abomination's place when it was such a far drive? But Jen coming into the party was funny. When all the chaos broke loose and everyone else was coming in was really cool, like Hulk dropping in and Titania. But come on, they couldn't have had Megan the horse come in from a helicopter and use her twerk power. That would have been so cool, but they didn't, and I'm very sad. She could have just jumped in from the roof, did the Black Widow thing, but they didn't. But now we had the best fourth wall break in the show, as in it actually was a good fourth wall break, which was when she broke out of the show. That would just be a screen break, I guess. But, now when she was on the homepage, I would have loved for her to climb over the Deadpool movies and have Deadpool say something fourth wall breaky. It would have been a great tease for Deadpool 3, and I would have loved that, but, okay. But anyways, she goes to the Marvel studio and meets the writers. Now, she was threatening them, which wasn't really calm, but it was fine. They lead her to Kevin, and she walks into the main Marvel building and walks down a hallway that looks like the one in Iron Man 2 with Black Widow. And Megan Horse's music starts playing. She breaks into Kevin's office where we see the MCU intro playing, and we meet Kevin. And that means that Captain America wasn't only mentioned in this show about his, but he's actually said, I can do this all day in this show. So now my sister needs to watch it because Captain America's in it. Kevin is very funny. He has his budget saving things, which was funny, his arrogance, and admitting that not all the films are great, and Jen just stating her case in the finale was cool, making him a bit more lawyery. Kevin is kind of a dumb inclusion for the story. I mean, I like him, but now in story, there's a higher power than Thanos, Kang, TVA, Galactus, anything else. And if someone in this story, like Ultron and What If, could find a way to contact him, just because Ultron and What If could contact a Watcher and stuff like that, if these super powerful beings could contact him, it would be really bad for the story and just destroy reality. Now, when he said he was going to fix the bug so no one could ever find him again, and she would never. I'm thinking maybe that just means she couldn't break the fourth wall again, and she just. No one in the MCU will be able to find him because. I don't know. You won't be able to enter through the um, Disney Plus documentary thingies. I don't know though. But she goes back to the world where Josh is not Josh, the mean guy that she dated. He's defeated. Titania flirts with Daredevil, and the episode's done. Jen has Matt over for family barbecue, and then Hulk comes back from Sakaar with Scar, his son, and it was a pretty good episode. Now, overall, in retrospect, She-Hulk was pretty good. Sadly, it has flaws which don't make it the best show ever, but it's good. Some of my favorite elements, which it shares with Spider-Man and Ms. Marvel, which it exposes us to a new side of civilians in the MCU. Now, if that means a man's trying to steal your blood because they consider themselves superior, I mean, it is something. In addition, it is pretty funny. We have a lot of good jokes or characters. Now, I feel like the jokes can be half-baked a lot of the time, but we do still have some bangers like Steve. Next, I like the use of stereotypes. It's funny to see Madison with a Y, but not where you think it is, as the party girl, or Titania the spoiled brat in this superhero universe. It gives the world so much more character and life, which I really appreciate. And since it's in this world, it feels different from sitcoms, and has stories like Mr. Immortal, which you can't do in a superhero world, and like the characters' choices, even if it's a stereotypical party girl, she's with Wong because it's in a superhero thing. But to start with the negatives, when it does connect to the MCU, I don't really like it. Part of the reason I hate episode 3 and 4 is Wong. It feels like sometimes when they're bringing in things from outside MCU, like other content, it's a lot of the stuff I don't like about the show. With what we saw in episode 9 with Kevin be able to change things, somehow I would have liked if, before episode 9 in which she goes to Kevin, that's not in the main MCU universe, but some retconned universe, which they can do because it's Kevin and he can just retcon all of it, which would only connect to the MCU after She-Hulk rejoins the finale and it's during day and all that stuff. And that's when it's part of the MCU. So we would have had something similar happen in the MCU, but just maybe without Wong and stuff like that. I would have loved the series a whole lot more if I knew like shows like Moon Knight weren't happening at the same time on the timeline. It's one of the biggest problems with the MCU. It feels like everything connected, yet you have She-Hulk, fourth wall breaking in the same universe as Iron Man, and it just couldn't feel any more different. And the fourth wall breaks were just bad. They were just cringy, or just how they were delivered. She would just stop driving her car and look directly at the camera. Doesn't this make you feel uncomfortable? And as far as the feminine Hollywood thing, let's just quickly talk about it. Besides the first episode, it wasn't too bad. I find myself in the middle of the debate, and although a lot happened, it didn't really bother me, and more often served the story than it didn't. So what's my closing argument on the show? Steve do be having sex though. Seriously, it was a pretty good show, and as a sitcom fan and a Daredevil fan, you may as well give it a try. Overall, I really did enjoy myself. Whether I was cringing or enjoying myself, it was a fun show. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and what do you think of She-Hulk and this video? Am I on the Disney payroll for liking it, or a dog-kissing Nazi for saying anything bad about it and that it wasn't the best show ever? Either of those things, please don't leave in the comments. Thanks for watching, and hit that subscribe button, or else I'll break out of this video and smash it for you. Bye now.